We're going to Hawaii, but for a diplomatic mission, not vacation. Thomas Catesby Jones was born April 24th, 1790 at Hickory Hill, Westmoreland County, Virginia, and he got his midshipman warrant on November 22nd, 1805. He participated in the War of 1812 at the Battle of Lake Borgne, which helped Andrew Jackson win victory at the Battle of New Orleans. Fast forward to April 25th when Thomas A. Catesby Jones heads to Norfolk, Virginia because he is supposed to report to Commodore Isaac Hall, who is the head of the Pacific Squadron and sailing along the coast of Chile and Peru. Thomas A. Catesby Jones, he has a companion, Lieutenant James Ramsey, because there was a controversy going on when James Ramsey, he was already at the Pacific Squadron, but he and Commodore Isaac Hall, butted heads, and so Isaac Hall sent James Ramsey back to Washington because James Ramsey, he was being disrespectful, and the Secretary of the Navy, he wasn't having his nonsense, and so he told James Ramsey to head back to the Pacific Squadron, which is where he met Thomas A. Catesby Jones at Norfolk because they were going to sail down to Panama together, cross through the jungles of Panama, and then somehow find their way to Commodore Isaac Hall's. The time that Thomas A. Catesby Jones spent with James Ramsey was enough to get on his nerves because Thomas A. Catesby Jones, he being a master commandant, he was supposed to captain the USS Peacock, and James Ramsey was supposed to be the first lieutenant, but the like I said, James Ramsey already got on Thomas A. Catesby Jones's nerves, just like he got on Commodore Isaac Hall's nerves, and so Thomas A. Catesby Jones, he wanted a replacement for his first lieutenant. So Thomas A. Catesby Jones, he joins Commodore Isaac Hall's squadron on the USS Peacock, and he gets a new first lieutenant. And Isaac Hall, he received orders from Secretary of the Navy, Samuel Southard, to handle the situation in Chile and Peru, but if he had time, travel up to the Sandwich Islands, aka the Hawaiian Islands, and try to find out what was going on because a mutiny happened not too long ago. And so just figure out what's going on up in those islands. But Isaac Hall, he felt that he was much more needed in South America, and so he sent Thomas A. Casey Jones up to the Sandwich Islands for him. So this was going to be a very long diplomatic mission for Thomas A. Casey Jones, going from island to island to island all around the South Pacific, meeting the chiefs of the natives of these different islands and negotiating, trading and commerce with the chiefs and natives. Just like when Thomas A. Casey Jones, when he made it to the Marquesas Islands, the natives and chiefs there, they met Americans before, and they knew Captain David Porter from the War of 1812, and so they were really friendly with the Americans. But in the time between the War of 1812 and now the 1820s, they were a little wary of meeting foreigners because these were generally nice people and they were taken advantage of. And so when Thomas A. Catesby Jones arrived to the Marquesas Islands, they were the natives, islanders, they were pretty hesitant to approach Thomas A. Catesby Jones. But when they found out that he was American, they asked if David Porter, was with them. But Thomas A. Catesby Jones, he said that Captain Porter wasn't on this diplomatic mission with them. Thomas A. Catesby Jones, he tries to continue the good relationship that Commodore David Porter had with these islanders on the Marquesas Islands. He left on a good note. On his way to the Hawaiian Islands, Captain Jones, he's trying to think how he's going to approach the Hawaiians because, well, the Hawaiians, from the information they have received, they didn't really hold the Americans in high regard because, well, the Hawaiians, they met both the British and the Americans, and the British, They tended to shower the Hawaiians with gifts and show off their warships, while the Americans, I mean, they only showed up to the Hawaiian Islands and whaler ships and merchant ships, and so the Hawaiians believed that the British were of a more superior maritime nation. And Jones, he didn't have any gifts on him to give to the Lions to start negotiating different trades and just continuing American trade interests. So he decided he was going to show the simplicity of republicanism, the American government, and he knew about some natives from Hawaii who got lured away from, well, by foreign whaler and merchant ships, but stranded on different islands. And so Thomas A. Casey Jones, he was going to get these natives who were stranded and return them back to their homeland. So now, Thomas A. Casey Jones arrived in Hawaii around October 11th, and it was time to see what the situation was here at the islands. A fellow U.S. Navy captain named Jack Percival was sailing the ship Dolphin, and he was also sent by Isaac Hall in search of a whaler ship, the Globe. Back in January 1824, there was a whaler ship, the Globe, sailing from New England, and there was a mutiny that happened on the Globe. The crew members killed the sailing master and its officers before taking over the ship and sailing to different islands trying to intimidate the natives. When they got to Marshall Island, trying to intimidate the natives there, the crew members of the Globe got captured and imprisoned, but only 6 managed to escape and get back on the Globe before sailing to Valparaiso, Chile. John Mad Jack Percival was sent to Sandwich Islands. While he was there at the Sandwich Hawaiian Islands, Mad Jack Percival, he was being disrespectful to the chiefs and the authority of the islands, while his men ransacked the missionaries' homes, and he was there for a while, and by the time he left, the missionaries and the chiefs, they were glad, they were happy, they were ecstatic that this U.S. Navy captain and his ship, the Dolphin, left. So when Thomas F. Casey Jones arrived in Hawaii, he had to convince the chiefs there that he was not Mad Jack Percival, and he was there on a diplomatic mission, which kind of took a moment, but the natives of Hawaii, they came around to him and were willing to negotiate and do business with uh, Thomas F. Casey Jones. So Jones, he did reestablish order between the missionaries and the merchants there and the natives. And he also found out that the natives, they owed a large debt to the merchant. The Hawaiians didn't understand how Western banking systems work. And so they didn't realize that they gained so much interest from the large debt that they owed because their previous chiefs, they were lavish and extravagant, and they accumulated a lot of debt. And so to handle this, Thomas A. Casey Jones, he suggested that the Hawaiians, they give the merchants sandalwood. The thing was, Thomas A. Casey Jones, he did all the calculations, and the Hawaiians owed about $200,000, and so that's going to be a lot of sandalwood. And so he broke it down to how much the Hawaiians would give to the merchants to pay off the debt owed. Both parties agreed, the natives and the merchants. But this had a long-term effect because paying off their debt with sandalwood meant cutting down the sandalwood forests, which left them impoverished. And so really this had a long-term effect because the Hawaiians, they were, like I said, impoverished until tourism became a huge thing at the islands.